transition to that last pick,
Yeah.
a safe choice would be a Minotaur. It's still a hero that Audi plays really, really well, and it's great to combo in with a Baksha and a Novaria for these neutral objective takes. Aside from that, though, they can also just go for someone who can actually hold CC in the side lanes. They can go for Paquito or just an Arlet if they want more team fighting presence to set up for the neutral objectives.
The Arlet, able to 1v1 against a CC, somewhat makes sense, but no, it's gonna be the Minotaur. They are going for the more team fight centric, objective centric setup. And with a Novaria, you have to remember that the ratio, the radius of the Minion and Fury is extended, so Alter Ego will find it a lot more difficult to just walk in through, especially with all the follow-up available, and with all the security available to allow D to be aggressive on this carry as well.
Technically, your Uranus could still pop up for Rebellion, right?
You're right,
I mean,
you're right.
Cars hasn't picked it up this season, but we saw that it was quite effective against the CC in the EXP lane, if that's what they're going for. But if they do go for the Uranus, there's not much setup that they can rely on other than, of course, Minotaur. But even that itself might still be lacking against Alter Ego now, who pick up something like the Charizla, Fortai, and a Vexana. So it is going to be a Roger in the jungle.
CC Gold, first time in Season 13.
Oh, you're right.
Wow, man. We'll have to see how that works out in the lane. You're aggressive, but it's usually because your opponents are also melee range that you can kind of kite around. Against a carry that's more mid-range heavy, there is a chance that he can do fine, but that'll be the CC Angela combo available. And Rebellion don't really have a lot of heroes that can go 1v1 that are independent and not working along with the team.
What would you choose last pick for Rebellion?
They have a solid 4 to hold team fights down. I think they should try to split them up with a Paquito or a Benedetta. I think both can work, but again, if they just want to bank on the team fights, the Arlet would be a good choice. A Lapu, if he's more comfortable on that pick, but they go for a different option. They go for more team fighting presence, but it's the Yu Zhong, some sustain as well.
Strong laner to get some prio, especially later on in the neutral objective takes. And now a lot of tools that can use to really zone out. The Black Dragon form can push everyone away, and so can the Minion Fury. They can alternate how they start the fights with these two tools. And for Alter Ego, it's a bit more of a straightforward approach. Mainly, it might just be the penalty zone coming in from Terizla, most likely in the hands of Pi.
Then we have the kill pressure coming in from CC as well. But for the Yuzong Black Dragon form, clear target would be Vexana.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's it, right?
Technically, it's the brawls. I mean, when you have a brawl, it's good for Yu Zhong.
Yeah, you can hit multiple people with your spells, and even if it's only the Vexana, denying a whole hero from a team fight, especially when it's so impactful like the Vexana, damage and crowd control, that's not the worst of situations, especially to let the carry have space to really operate in the fights.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how this works out. Debut CC in the gold lane by Alter Ego. Another crazy pick we expect from Coach Aldo, the Architect, as we get into the Land of Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 1 in this best-of-3 series between the 3 face masks and the Blue Bulls.
Early on, I think the clear will favor the Baksha. That's usually the case, but Taz doing it pretty well. We'll have to see if an invade does happen. Rekt is usually really aggressive on this Angela. Going with the focusing mark as well. He's going for pickoff as the audience kind of releases a battle cry. Kind of caught me off guard there.
They're having fun. They're having fun with the Indonesian casters, and it's great to see always the passion coming in from the audience. As we now jump back into the game, 1 minute has elapsed, and finally we get to see the emblems.
A lot of inspires here. 1 on Suelo, 2 on Nino and Rekt. They know that the spells, how often they can spam out all these abilities, will be so important. Rekt going for the Bargain Hunter as well. He wants to go and get that photo power spike so much earlier as possible and try and turn it around in those big team fights. Kride, though, is going with the Impure Rage, so he's going for a bit more mana sustain, a bit more poke damage, not going for additional burst with something like a Lethal Ignition, for instance.
Okay. But if you take a look at this lower third right now, Nino, debut pick on the CC in the gold lane. It's so refreshing to see Nino going back to the fighters. I know it's not the same fighters that we used to see him play on, like the Yuzong and so on and so forth, but finally back in.
Whoa!
Oh, wait, what?
Krike gets demolished, still able to flicker out though, just barely, but That'll basically give the prio for Turtle #1 over to Rebellion. Crazy aggression from the Blue Bulls.
That's a single target damage that Rebellion has at their disposal, man. If only Cars is able to trigger the passive, right? That the damage over time passive coming in, the Shy Energy from the Yuzong, that could have been a kill. But now Cars tries to zone everyone away.
That's the power of the hard guard though. He just jumps in, but Vincent wins out the red tree battle. Audi, Minas Fury and a flicker. He gets all 4. And now it's Pi in the midst of it all. Caught again by the dive, but Taz is doing a whole lot of damage. That's 1 for 1. Crite on the board for Audi. A roamer for the mid lane. Taz trying to get them low. Rek trying to tie him up as well. That's the Astral Echo connecting onto 2 with Taz. Just keeps on scratching him down. Cars looks for another trade back, but Taz is running away. It's another re-engage and sway low with a flicker.
Cars.
It's an all-out win for Rebellion.
What? What is that passive, man? Cars came back in, re-initiated, and was able to turn that entire team fight around in favor of Rebellion. So I guess that's why they were so confident with the Yuzong choice.
It's a lot of damage and you don't really see it coming. Cars did a great job there, outputting the damage, knowing when to back away when his spells are still on cooldown. With that play, it's going to be a turtle and a kill advantage secured for Rebellion. But Alter Ego did get the first blood, so it's still relatively even. But I think Alter Ego got a taste of that early game presence that Rebellion has.
Definitely. And because they've utilized this CC in the gold lane, does it mean that they're on quite a timer this time around, or is CC more of a late game hero?
I think they're on a timer for sure, especially compared to a carry. And to make things worse, Nino can win in the lane, as in win in prio in trades, but afterwards, I think he's going to find it quite difficult to really secure a kill, unless, of course, the whole team rotates to try and facilitate something of a dive. Looking at the items, you can see that that's a lot of warrior boots built on the side of Rebellion. 3, including 1 on D.
Erosion side rush also from the carriers, wants to go at it. Cars on this Yuzong, man, Cars has been popping off this week on the Yuzong. Like, for some reason, this guy's... We haven't seen Yuzong a lot from Cars, you know? It's not like a hero we would usually expect from him. We usually think of the Arlet, the Benedetta, the Paquito, and for Rebellion, right now, they're going to go straight for the second turtle of the game. Taz is right there, but Audi just flickers on him, zones him away from the turtle completely. And now it's a re-engage. It's Pi getting to an Eternal Guard as well, on top of the knockup from the penalty zone. Alter Ego trade 2 kills for the Turtle. Cars all alone. I don't think he can fend off against 4 members and a big Eternal Guard zoning him away. They'll give the full turret goal and maybe even a whole turret towards Alter Ego. But no, the turret will still survive. Rebellion sends some of their members. Cars is low. Vincent can't hold this on. Shield Unity to the back. Cars again with a swing. But it will just be them focusing on the minion waves and then backing away. That turret is really low though.
Initially, really good, well played by Audi TZ, going to be able to zone Taz away from the neutral objective, but that trade 2-0, how is that looking for Alter Ego? Was that a good trade? 2 kills for the Turtle?
I think it's something, right? It lowered the goal difference as well, so definitely Alter Ego would be happy to take that, try and get something in exchange for that neutral objective. Audi was able to actually secure it by surprising Alter Ego, forcing them to react, but afterwards, they have to understand that they already used a Flicker Minion Fury combo. They lack 1 ultimate in a big fight, and Alter Ego has a lot of follow-up damage, especially with Crite on the Vexana, so now Pi zones everyone away. Might be just a turret taken by Alter Ego.
A free turret down below, no trades on the board actually. They're looking for the top side and it's Ret, who's all alone. 2 fighters, actually 1 tank and a fighter, takes the girl down.
So it's so sad to see.
It is, man. You know,
so sad to see.
Just a little girl just trying to, you know, do her own thing.
Trying to do her thing, exactly. But they
She got
do
beat
get
up.
the turret in the top side, so that was a good mirror play coming out from Rebellion. Understanding that they might utilize Rek to confer the far lane, and they were able to find an advantage over it. But now the next neutral objective has spawned. Taz, as well as Vincent, should be starting to open up the map, and they do. Do they want to do the exact same thing they did before?
They do. They have that neutral objective control. Taz already knocked up again. That's a flicker from Audi and Eternal Guard to help Peel right now. But Taz is still in the midst of it all, still with the help of the hard guard. Cars. Oh, Furious dive to the wrong side, and Audi TZ will pay with his life for that mistake. Alter Ego take control of the neutral objective. It's another turtle towards Alter Ego this time. And Rebellion don't even get a turret trade. Carry in the bottom lane D can't get that turret down.
See, that's twice in a row that they went for the team fight in the exact same way. They went for the neutral objective contest strategy the exact same way, and that Eternal Guard, time and time again, has been such an issue for the setup from Rebellion.
I mean, it's great when you're playing Vexana and someone else will take the heat, take the pressure away from you, because you have a great way to really start a fight, but following up on a big initiation, that's where Vexana really shines. And once one of the members gets caught, gets taken out, the passive does an extra bit of damage, and that is a danger whenever you're fighting against a Vexana. Not to mention, in that fight, Nino was able to just set up so well by pressuring, pushing D away, and pushing the wave so far up that he can join the fight, make it a 5v4 decisive victory for Alter Ego, and yet no real trade was even attained by Rebellion. D was pushing as hard as he can, and the waves barely reached the turret. That is the macro that Alter Ego is just executing so well right now.
It's unfortunate, and you can even see in map pressure that Alter Ego hold all the cards here. Look at them starting to go for a take onto Vincent. Let's see the counter engage coming through from Rebellion. They don't necessarily commit onto it just yet. So back to that particular team fight, would you not think that it would be Karsa's homework to really secure Krite in his place, to deny him that opportunity for the Eternal Guard?
I think it's a difference in the setup as well. And you have to look at Rebellion. They've been engaging onto Taz. Every single time they're trying to knock Taz up, try and deny the retribution, and then afterwards they're trying to follow up on the initial play already. But because of that, they're grouping around Taz, and that's where Krite can just, follow up and counter-engage with the Vexana. So I think if they want to go for the strategy, they want to use cars to really dive in the backline and disrupt, they have to do that earlier and make sure that Krite is not even in the picture before the fight even begins, instead of scrambling to try and do so in the middle of an engagement.
So let's see if they're able to adapt to that, right? I mean, 2 times in a row it didn't work out. Are they going to go for the exact same strategy 3 times, despite it not working time and time again? This is the first Lord of the game, so we might see some differences here, but they won't engage on it just yet. Rex still in the bottom lane, looking to push in, play the macro game. And this is where Rebellion might be lacking.
And I think for Rebellion, right, the main reason they were able to get control of the neutral objectives has been because they started first. They get to dictate how the neutral objective gets taken. The third turtle that went to Alter Ego, it was Alter Ego who was in the river, in the pit first.
And because of that, now we can see Alter Ego, they're the ones dictating. And earlier, when this Angela on the far side strategy is implemented, Rebellion were able to actually counter it and pick Rekt off. And now, everything's set up so well. Alter Ego still even pushing deeper. Pi moving into the jungle of Rebellion to get even more information. Now they see Suelo on the bottom side. They can pull the trigger, but they can just wait.
They need to do their housekeeping. The global pressure coming in from Angela on Rekt has been a problem for the past few minutes here, and it looks like Alter Ego also have an advantage in the jungle. Taz is level 14, meanwhile Vincent is level 12, so that's a 2-level difference. So even if, let's say, the housekeeping, the global presence wasn't there, Rebellion is still at a disadvantage here.
That's Taz getting all in and shot down like it's nothing. Cars jumps to the back. That was a late hard guard from Rekt, and Vincent will take it, but now it's a re-engage onto the back. Vincent still with the poison shots, but now gets shredded down by Nino. Rebellion have got the Lord. They can move back, and they will. They will back away from this fight. Wow.
That was a weird turn of events. I thought Alter Ego had all the cards in their hands, but Taz gets picked off. Rebellion do have an insane amount of single target damage. Technically, the Yutsong counts, the Novaria, the carry as well. They have a lot of ways to really surprise burst a single person, not a full team. And they were doing that to Taz. And in the previous fights, Taz has been always able to survive. But there, he bit of a bit more than he can chew. The healing wasn't enough. The hard guard wasn't used. So Alter Ego, they try and do the best and try to punish. But overall, I think it's still very worth it for Rebellion.
That was so well played. Because as we were setting up for that Lord Dance, that shouldn't have been in favor of Rebellion, yet they played that so well. They went for a little bit of a different strategy there. They didn't opt to start with Audi TZ on the Minotaur. They actually started with Vincent first, and then luckily Suelo already opened up his ult, utilized the Meteor Sphere as well, and then was able to one-hit him. I mean, at this point, Suelo is already doing damage, and he will be dealing a bit more because earlier on, he was already able to secure the Divine Glaive too. So the members of Alter Ego now need to start respecting that damage output coming out from Suelo.
Yeah, the Divine Glaive definitely bumps up that damage. But here's a game fact by our application GoPay.
CC from Nino makes CC's debut as a gold laner in MPLID Season 13 after previously being played in MPL Malaysia Season 13 by Ruff from Monster Vicious.
Well, history repeats itself, and in a way, logically, the CC pick does make sense. I mean, you're seeing how Nino is playing right here, always threatening and always kind of kiting. If you look at where the ability's range really ends, the range isn't quite as short as you would expect. In fact, it's quite similar to Carry's range, even though it's not exactly the same thing. So it's a bit of a pseudo marksman situation. And in fact, Nino will have better kiting and more survivability with the Vengeance as well in these fights. So depending on how Alter Ego play it out, that'll be great. But I think that also means that the Vexana, Krite on the Vexana, will have a lot more to do to supplement that damage, the lack of damage, because there is no marksman. And Vexana is a great pick to do so, but like already mentioned, she's a bit vulnerable, especially against something like a Yu Zhong when she's not running the Purify.
It's actually a Brute Force breastplate in the 13-minute for Taz. It's an interesting build. Now he's going for War Axe and the Thunderbelt into Endless. So, yeah, we've seen a variety of different builds from the Roger. And this is another one. It's another variant of the Roger build. Bro, if I had a penny for every time Roger has a different build, I would have like 7. It's not a lot, but you know, it's 7.
It is 7. Number keeps showing up, huh? Well, yeah, it's a proc-heavy build coming in from Taz. A lot more burst damage, technically. A lot of true damage from the Thunderbelt Endless Battle combo. We used to see it a lot more popular with marksmen that have spammable abilities. But on the Roger, also gives you more sustain, more mana. So it's a great option, but he is a lot squishier, and he doesn't have the same kind of DPS. So it's ability-based, and he won't be basic attack-heavy in the middle of these fights.
And now we're back to square one again. Another Lord dance, a Lord tango between both of these teams, and Vincent is still a level below. He's not quite caught up to Taz at the moment. And now is the question, are they going to go for an all-in once again onto Taz? They need to blitz this because the Lord is very low already.
Oh wait, they move back? Renus Cars pops into Black Dragon from Taz is completely zoned away. Vincent just gets in the back pie as well. Jumps in, but he's isolated, so D just takes him down. Audi next to the chopping block though. Vincent terrified, and they are just retreating back, trading 2 members for Pi and the Lord. I would say it's still worth it for Rebellion, but Alter Ego, they don't want to stand at just a 2-for-1 with the Lord. They want to get some turrets on the board. Enhanced Lord to the bottom lane. Rebellion still have their 2 main damage dealers, and Suelo will try his best to try to zone Taz away. It's Taz and Krite. Zone from the Lord. Nino now jumping forward, tying D up, but D's doing a whole lot of damage. Cars doing the same thing, but Taz jumps forward again. Cars gets that passive healing. And the Lord is slowly but surely getting towards the base of Alter Ego. But Alter Ego are holding it down.
How did Vincent get the Lord?
It's a contest at that point. It's a bit of a 50-50. But the fact that Rebellion were able to push away Alter Ego is definitely not within their calculations. The fact that their jungler just is a lot more vulnerable and has been picked up once already makes it so difficult for Alter Ego to really stand there and try and go for that risky 50-50 on the Retribution. Only getting 2 kills, by the way, for the Lord, I think it's definitely still worth it for Rebellion. The map pressure and the extra bit of utility and the fact that Alter Ego themselves can't get the push, I think it's so value. Let's look at the replay here from the previous fight. It's Vincent and Cars all going in. Taz tries to return back in with the hard guard this time, but it's just a bit too late. It seems like Alter Ego has control over the macro game until it's the right moment, until it's the decisive moment to take the Lord, and then Rebellion just immediately take over because they have the better ultimates for that situation, the Black Dragon form and the Minion Fury.
On top of that, I mean, despite the performance coming in from Rebellion so far, they are number 9 at the moment on the standings, but Vincent has been such a reliable jungle. He was a level below of Taz earlier on and was still able to secure that Lord away from Taz. So underrated, so reliable. That's something that you can highlight here from that particular team fight as well.
I love the call though from Rebellion, right? They get the Lord and you can see Suelo, Cars, and D. They knew. They were happy sacrificing Vincent and Audi. It's like they made a call and instantly they just worked on it. It's already a very different Rebellion and honestly a very different Alter Ego. Even Alter Ego, super disciplined in how they took that. I think there was a mistake obviously because Rebellion took back the turtle or the Lord aggro, but still, really good stuff from both teams.
I really feel like Alter Ego should have been the ones to aggress there though, to try and maybe, you know, feint and engage, to try and burn some ultimates down. Because for Alter Ego, a lot of these ultimates aren't really game-changing, decisive. It's way low, steals that purple. That's going to be a value situation. More spells, more mana to really shoot out those Astral Spheres. And at this point, with the Ice Queen's wand, he's having a good deal of sustain as well. He doesn't have to go back to base for the most part unless he gets really, really low.
Oh, he built the Ice Queen wand? Oh. I mean, that's a big deterrent as to how Alter Ego want to set up for these team fights, right? Because every time they go for a team fight, we see that Suelo opens up his Astral Echo first. And then I guess that can also cause issues other than with the hitbox and so on and so forth, but also causing issues when they want to go for a setup because of the immense slow coming through.
Yeah, especially with the fighters, right? If Alter Ego are trying to move in and out the way like Nino would want to do on the CC, he's a lot slower now. And same thing about Taz. He hasn't been going all in these fights. He's been going back and forth. Well, look at Nino though.
Oh, Vengeance already used up. Hard guard too. They baited out a few skills and Audi still has the Minion's Fury. Vincent can regen. This is a... Well, Alter Ego also baited the Black Dragon form out. But I think the Vengeance has a bit more value for Alter Ego. Now, I think it's Rebellion with an advantage.
Especially with the Minion Fury available, it's still a massive team fight ultimate. But this means also that Krite doesn't have to be fearful of the Black Dragon form. They have no way to really push Alter Ego away from the Lord the same way that allowed them to get that value in the previous fight. So Alter Ego, they might feel like that's enough to really get an advantage and push the issue.
This is the calm before the storm once again. They've actually opted to send Suelo to deal in with the far lane. And it looks like Rekt isn't going to commit onto it, but Suelo, here's the opening.
That's the 4-man. 20 seconds on that Vengeance. That timer is going to be important. It's going to be back. Looking at how both these teams are just resetting the aggro.
They don't commit.
I'm quite surprised that Alter Ego has not been using Rekt to really go for a push on the side lanes. They do know that Suelo can clear it eventually, but now, once again, the aggro, the Lord is kind of semi-resetted back, and both teams are just content waiting here, doing this exact thing. In a way, it favors Rebellion because Suelo can continuously poke everyone down, but with an Angela available, it's maybe that's why the Angela can't really rotate to the other side. They need him to really... They need the Angela to keep dispensing out this regeneration for Alter Ego to stand there and take these Astral Spheres.
There's also a possibility that they're not really sure, perhaps, of the positioning of D and Cars. Maybe they're afraid that that movement might be read out. Suelo opens up another ult here. Doesn't connect onto anyone. Is he just using it for information?
I think so. And if you look at the wave on the top side, though, it's kind of balanced. I think it's going to start pushing for Alter Ego, though. That's why they're waiting for the moment.
Another Vengeance popped in. That's a 3-man penalty zone to the back. D actually flickers forward. Pops in over to Nature and now tries to kite over the Pi with the help of Cars to peel away. Furious dive once again, knocking Pi up as that's going to be D. Still free hitting in the back as Audi TZ will be taken down, but Pi is very, very low. Cars have been deep into the back line. Taz with Lycan pounce and Immortality gets out just in time. Nino dodging away from the spin, but now Cars gets pulled down and the yo-yos from Nino is lethal in the 21st minute. Wow, Suelo almost getting that shot. Nino now running him down, knowing he doesn't have the Astral Recall again. But he finds the cooldown once again, shoots it down. Only to Rekt, who can heal back up. Alter Ego with a 3-4-0 and Alter Ego with a wave up top and a free Lord.
Pushing on every particular scene and scenario here. Does Suelo want to look for a steal? He's not in range for it. I think he was planning onto it, but Nino was able to zone him out so well. Alter Ego picking up the pace, picking up the momentum in the 21st minute of the game, a 4K gold lead. And they have everything in their arsenal at this point.
I hope we get a replay. D flickered forward. I think he mistapped.
Perhaps, man. And even so, it's a crazy sequence of events because Alter Ego, they let go of the Lord that is just, I think, 300 or 400 HP away from retry range. So they immediately figured, you know what? We have to fight first, right? Our composition has no real siege. It needs everyone to really dogpile onto the backline, and they just decisively just leave it out like that. Looking at some of the items right here, Nino going in for a full damage build, except for the Brute Force Breastplate and the Oracle. You see, the Oracle gives him a lot more regeneration, but he doesn't protect him as much from the Astral Sphere. Now, Rebellion, can they try and defend right here with all that beef? Remember, all the meat shields in the front. Alter Ego might go for an end right here.
Black Dragon form, Nino has the Vengeance once again. Eternal Guard is already used up towards the base. The Lord now is in the base range. Cars jumps over the Furious Dive, gets terrified. Two of them now as Nino gets knocked up twice. But Taz is able to get out. Pi has lost his life. Cars zoning the front. Alter Ego still trying to poke them down as much as they can. But this is the advantage of Rebellion fighting in their base. They can constantly go back and forth. Swalo lands a shot on Rekt. And Rebellion will defend for now. Alter Ego have built a 5,000 gold lead. But in the 23rd minute, is it still a relevant lead?
I think it's relevant when it comes to item swap potential, but right now, counter-engaging onto Vincent, and Nino tries to capitalize.
I don't think this is a good fight for Alter Ego to take, and they recognize it too. They don't have Pi. It is going to be a tough fight to take with no Pi and no Vengeance on Nino, so they retreat.
Best case scenario though, they lose the inhibitor turret in the mid side, they didn't lose it to the far lane, so that won't be something that can be capitalized by Alter Ego. But of course, an inhibitor turret is an inhibitor turret, and they need to work around it. Taz now picks up the BOD. How will that change the course of this game at this point?
I think it's going to give him more damage, but the thing is, he is struggling to really burst, or not burst, but melt through the front line of Rebellion. In the previous fight, I think Vincent was in the front tanking Taz's basic attacks and his Endless Battle and Thunderbolt procs, but even then, it's still a very slow process compared to D, who immediately just shreds down the Lord and shreds down Pi, who was trying to zone him, who was trying to exert pressure to try and potentially go for the end. I feel like Alter Ego has to, in the end, go for something like a 50-50, because if they can't get to D, I think it's going to be a very tough situation for them to try and get a victory there somehow.
I mean,
24 minutes.
Yeah. Me and Arashi were actually asked backstage of what we think is the weakness of the two-fighter composition. And I said it's the end. Like, even if you have an advantage, it's just really tough to end, especially up against a composition with a normal comp. You can defend so well. Novaria carry, right? And for Alter Ego, technically the only guy who can hit the turret is Roger. So it's tough for this composition to end the game without a wipeout.
Or, I mean, they have to try and go for something crazy that can result in them getting wiped out. It's just a very risky, high-risk, high-reward strategy, this double fighter strat. And Alter Ego, this is like part of their style, but now they're struggling, and we've yet to see if they'll be able to do so. Rebellion now, though, they're controlling the pace, and they have the mid lane pushed out.
They do. The top side is pushing as well. Rekt was able to go to the bottom lane as well and push some minions in. But the Lord is already really low. Who's gonna pull the gas first? Alter Ego, last time they went in for a team fight, it gets resetted, actually.
I feel like Alter Ego are the ones who really want to go for a fight first before anything, but now Cars gets jumped on.
He has an immortality. He also has the help of Auditizi with that photo, but he's forced to use the Black Dragon form. Incredible resource burnt out, and Alter Ego have the advantage. The Vengeance is still up. Two big ultimates, or actually make it three with D popping it as well. Lane up top, pushing Taz. Very aggressive into the front. Great calculation. He knows he has a Heart Guard to help him. And the bottom lane is actually building up to Alter Ego's favor again. Let's see what Alter Ego, what they do with this advantage. Looks like they don't want to reset it. Rebellion are forced to take or make a decision in this moment with the lane shoved bot, but Alter Ego decide to reset it again here. They do not want to go 50-50 against Vincent. but they've done enough to actually stop that from resetting. Back and forth once again. 5 men. Astral Echo now caught in the Black Dragon form again, and on TZ is in the back. Caught in the penalty zone. D melting him down. Now Retry battle. Vincent very low. Has the help of the photo, but they're not going to go for the Lord just yet right now. They're going to go for the full team fight as D still able to kite away for now, and that is the Lord. Focused down by Alter Ego. It's Vincent for Pi, but it is an evolved Lord in the 27th minute of the game for Alter Ego.
So unfortunate. Vincent was so close to stealing the Lord as well, but Alter Ego was able to shut him down before he was given the opportunity to. And now it's a full push. The siege potential from Alter Ego with the Lord marching down in the mid side.
Ooh, hard guard already used up by Taz here though.
Yeah.
Without the penalty zone, there's no real decisive way to start the fight. Rebellion, they're going for the clear, and Alter Ego, they're just watching it happen.
3-man Furious Dive, and D has just cleared out the Evolved Lord. Cars lose the Immortality, buys him in a truncheon, pops it in time, very low. He should still lose his life, and he does, but the mini waves here are getting dealt with. Oh, what? Where did Swaylo get that kill from? It happened from out of nowhere, and Nino is down. Taz, he needs this base turret to be taken down to find a bit more value, but Rebellion denies it away from them. They defend quite well. Another wave, though, will ensure that they get this base turret. 3 base turrets to 0 for RBL.
Oh!
Vincent's back up, the base is open, and Alter Ego pull the trigger, straight for the base they go. Disciplined, composed.
And here it is, Alter Ego gonna be able to lead the series against the Blue Bulls. So far, Audi TZ statements has not reigned true. They wanted to let Angela go for Rect,
I mean, it's true, they did let it go.
but they
just
didn't win.
Yeah. You know, mess around and find out. That's the quote that everyone's saying these days.